Ghana joins 30 African countries to ensure economic growth in their respective countries. Thanksgiving service held in honor of President Akufo-Addo. Hello, good evening. You're most welcome to the studios of GBC24 and GTV. This is News Hour. It's going to be 30 minutes of news. My name is Micheline Taka. You're most welcome. President Akufo-Addo and heads of states and government from 30 African countries have resolved to ensure economic growth in their respective countries at the just ended 27th Africa-France Summit held at Bamako, Mali. The leaders agreed to champion a more inclusive economy which will ensure job creation for the youth.
The France-Africa Summit is aimed at enhancing the integration process, collective action and cooperation for the common good of participating countries. At the Bamako Summit, heads of state agreed to the framework of the International Sustainable Development Agenda, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda on Financing for Development, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, and the African Union's Agenda 2063. Leaders at the summit resolved to make education and vocational training priorities, as these will improve human development and the integration of young Africans on the labor market. They also agreed to strengthen the management of education systems on the continent by focusing on quality, particularly by putting in place efficient training and assessment policies. The heads of state appealed to the international partners to increase their support for the sectors of education and vocational training in Africa. The communique also stressed the importance of mobility and the movement of skills on the continent in order to encourage economic dynamism and innovation. On the issue of security in West Africa, the heads of state are determined to develop joint border patrols in the fight against Boko Haram. France also pledged to continue supporting the operationalization of the Africa Standby Force. President François Hollande pledged development assistance of 20 million euros to participating countries by 2018. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, was accompanied by the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, Minister-Designate for Foreign Affairs, Madam Shalia Yokobuche, Minister-Designate for National Security, Mr. Albert Kandapa, Acting Secretary to the President, Nana Bedieto Asante, and Acting Director of Communications, Mr. Eugene Ahin.
Back home, President Akufo-Addo has pledged to serve the country with dignity at a special Thanksgiving service organized by the Accra Ridge Church. In his honor, the president thanked God for offering him the opportunity to serve Ghanaians. President Nana Akufo-Addo, who returned from home last night from the France-Africa Summit held in Bamako, Mali, also recounted how the world is admiring Ghana for the smooth and peaceful transfer of power.
One can describe the atmosphere at the Accra Ridge Church as a spirit-filled one. The church was full of praises and worship. Indeed, it was a moment to thank God for electing one of their own to the highest office of the land. The Accra Ridge Church is one Christian interdenominational church that has produced distinguished personalities over the past 80 years. The list spans from Vice President, Clerk of the Legislature, Ministers of State, Judges, Lawyers, Doctors, Chief Executives and Senior Media Practitioners, among others. But God has added another honor to their tall list, the President of the land in the person of Nana Akufo-Addo. For years, the Accra Ridge Church is where Nana Akufo-Addo has been worshipping. The congregation praised God through a number of songs. The occasion was attended by many, including the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and his wife, the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Kwe, Chief Justice Mrs. Theodora Wood and husband, government officials, senior members of the clergy, among others. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, former Chief of Staff, Mr. Henry Martin Newman, and the priest of the Accra Rich Church, Most Reverend Emmanuel Ayi, respectively read the Bible readings for the service. The moderator of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Right Reverend Professor Sifas Omenyo, asked the President to lead an incorruptible government. He said there is the need for civic education to reorient Ghanaians in terms of positive attitudinal change.
Let the change that has occurred help us to renew our sense of nationhood. I like the way our president talks about the Ghanaian. Let us celebrate our independence, which must be founded on the dependence on God. Fortunately, Mr. President, you have already set the tone. We must continue to recognize that the battle is the Lord's.
The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, thanked the church for the honor. He said, Ghana is a great nation which adheres to democratic principles internationally.
People who from the relatively small space of the then Gold Coast rose to lead this mighty continent in its struggle for freedom and independence. Today, it is the beacon of Africa's path to a future of freedom and responsible government. Yesterday, I was in Bamako in the Republic of Mali, attending the Africa-France Summit. Everyone, all the presidents were profuse in their praise of what we have done here in Ghana. And indeed, François Hollande, the French president, in his opening speech, specifically singled me out for mention and praise.
He thanked former President Mahama for handing over power peacefully. He also thanked former President Kufuor and Jerry John Rawlings for their support.
My hope and fervent wish is that the Lord will give me the talent and capacity to summon these people with all our political differences, religious and ethnic differences, to achieve our common purpose, building a new Ghanaian civilization founded on a prosperous, fair and just society where government is honest, where the rule of law works for all, and where there is social justice. Our thanks on this occasion must also go to my predecessor, the President John Dramani Mahama. Who followed in the worthy footsteps of his illustrious predecessors, the President Jerry John Rawlings and the President John Agyekum Kufuor, and supervised a peaceful transition of power. Despite all the controversies surrounding his settlement, his conduct has been a credit to our nation, and we must all give thanks to the Lord for it.
Special prayers were said for the President, his vice and their spouses for God's guidance and protection for the task ahead.
Ghanaians, especially women and children under 5, are encouraged to include the orange flesh sweet potatoes to their staple food due to its nutritional value. The crop is effective in fighting vitamin A deficiency. The former UN General Secretary, Mr. Kofi Annan, has therefore urged farmers, especially the youth, to venture into the cultivation of the crop as their source of income and derive its health benefits as well.
There are about 12 varieties of sweet potatoes in Ghana. According to nutritionists, the nutritional value of all the varieties available is high. The orange flesh sweet potato is one of their popular varieties. It contains beta-carotene, which is converted into vitamin A, a daily nutritional requirement. The former UN Secretary General, Mr. Kofi Annan, and his wife are working together with the International Potato Center and women in agri development of the Ministry of Agriculture to promote the cultivation and consumption of orange flesh sweet potato, especially among pregnant women and children under 5 years. On a visit to the central region, Mr. Kofi Annan and his wife interacted with vendors of potato along the Mori Cape Coast Highway to find out how people are buying the crop and challenges they encounter. About 15 different orange flesh potato cuisines were displayed at an exhibition at Elmina. Some of the exhibitors spoke to GBC24. First, Emmanuel Amponsa and Eunice Rakiatu.
The sweet-fleshed potato is perishable, so I prefer converting it into chips and other powdered products.
And again, also my powder for every porridge crowd between the beer gum and the beer between the beer gum. And my mamma fra and I pay for true. And a mom, so mutia,
the potato is orange fresh sweet potato that we blend with milk to form the yogurt. It is very rich in calcium because of the milk component in it, and also vitamins because of the sweet potato in it. We have an intention of converting this one also into sachet so that the calcium, the vitamins in it, even the least privileged can also have a taste and enjoy the nutrients in it.
The regional officer in charge of women in agriculture development of the Ministry of Agriculture, Madam Esther Okwa Akumenin, threw more light on the orange flesh potato and its benefits.
It's good for women and children particularly because it is very nutritious. It contains vitamin A that is very good for their growth, their health, their sight and everything. But unfortunately, most mothers and their children, they lack it because of the old folks say that sweet potato doesn't contain anything, and in fact, even if when men consume sweet potato, they will not perform. No, it's true. They will not perform. And that even the Ashantis say that it is fantasy because we like sweet things. That's why we eat sweet potato.
I see.
But fortunately, this time it's everywhere. Even in the north, they are growing and they are utilizing it.
At Tropical Starch Company at the Ebura Dunkwa and a bakery at Mankesim, cassava and sweet potato are processed into starch. Mr. Annan promised to support farmers to improve technologies for farming.
We've been quite impressed with the energy and the enthusiasm for the product. We had a very useful meeting last night with a range of stakeholders, and they were all very enthusiastic about their work. They are being very creative and coming up with lots of products, which I think with a bit of help could be moved up to the next stage.
A deputy programs leader and nutritionist from the International Potato Center, Mr. Robert Akatia Ama, explained how important it is for women and children to consume the orange flesh sweet potato.
One of the contributions of this crop that is being introduced in the country is to help fight micronutrient malnutrition, more specifically vitamin A deficiency. Consumption of 125 grams of sweet potato is enough to meet your daily requirements for vitamin A. So our primary target groups in most of our programs are pregnant women, lactating women, and children under 5. It doesn't mean that men are also excluded from it, but because these groups are what we call vulnerable groups, they become our main target for intervention across the health spectrum.
The John Ajakunkufor Foundation and the Millennium Promise Alliance have signed a memorandum of understanding to ensure the youth are nurtured into the areas of science and technology as well as leadership skills. The agreement, witnessed by former president and founder of the JAK Foundation, John Ajakum-Kufuor, and Board Chairman of the Millennium Promise Alliance, Professor Jeffrey Sachs, will see to the funding of specific projects under the JAK Foundation.
The agreement between the two institutions came about as a result of a long-standing relationship between both former President John Ajakum-Kufuor and Professor Jeffrey Sachs, who during the former president's administration was a consultant on the Millennium Development Goals for the UN. As part of the agreement, the two foundations will create a formidable partnership to promote food and nutrition, reduce hunger, and contribute to the meeting of the Sustainable Development Goals in the country.
Specific targets are to promote especially the fundamental goal of the Kufuor Foundation, which is youth leadership. And from my point of view, since I put a lot of emphasis on the Sustainable Development Goals, which means making the end of poverty and the control of disease and the promotion of environmental sustainability central, our work will be helping young people to take on the leadership to achieve sustainable development, and specifically the Sustainable Development Goals. So it'll be helping young people to get the skills so that they can become leaders.
Former President Kufuor talked about the need for the youth to be fully equipped for leadership positions so as to catch up with the technological advancements of the world.
I believe our youth have gotten the basic education and knowledge that should enable them use the extension of technologies and science that is needed to help in our transforming our society, to set the example in the neighborhood of our continent. Our continent at large is left far behind so far, but this continent should be the continent of this century. And we can only catch up with the rest of the world when we use the partnerships offered to us through the agencies of the United Nations and similar institutions.
According to the former president, Africa in the 21st century should be a shining star for the rest of the world to admire and learn from. He was quick to add that strong partnerships are needed in that regard. The John Ajakum-Kufuor Foundation was founded in 2010 by the former president to help support and build the capacity of the youth for economic success. The Millennium Promise Alliance, incorporated as a non-profit organization, was formed 12 years ago and focuses on rural development. The MOU would also see to the execution of projects in the areas of youth empowerment, agriculture, healthcare and technology. A youth leadership conference is to be held here in Ghana this year. It will attract a cross-section of the youth across the globe.
The Tema collection points of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority made a little over 7.3 billion Ghana cedis as against the 2016 annual target of 7.6 billion Ghana cedis. The sector commander of the Tema Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Mr. Confidence Nyaji, announced this at the division's annual awards night in Tema.
The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has a core mandate to mobilize revenue for the state and protect all duties, taxes, as well as penalties payable under the law. Each year, the division sets a maximum target for the state. According to the Commissioner in charge of Customs of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Mr. John Vianney Kudamnuru, last year the Customs Division were taxed to meet a target of 10.8 billion Ghana cedis, but narrowly missed it to 10.315 billion Ghana cedis as a result of the elections, which slowed down revenue collection. He, however, commended the Tema collection point of the Customs Division of the GRA for exceeding exceeding its target a little over 7.3 billion Ghana cedis, representing 95.3% of the annual target.
The man designated to become senior minister has indicated that government is going to rely on revenue mobilization, and all efforts will be put in place to block all leakages at the ports, especially at customs, at the airports and the seaports. It means therefore that those of us who work in the customs division have a lot on our plate. We have to re-examine ourselves and our ways of doing business. Those negative ways must be put to an end if you want to go along with the change. Otherwise, change will change you.
The sector commander of the Tema Customs Division, Confidence Nyaji, said although the division narrowly missed its revenue target for last year, the sector also made some landmark gains.
Some arms and ammunition were also intercepted during the period under review, and I believe we all can imagine what could have happened if these weapons had not been intercepted but had gotten into the wrong hands. The year also witnessed the busting of a syndicate group that was abusing diplomatic exemptions by the illicit importation of non-diplomatic cargo through diplomatic channels.
The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Mr. George Blankson, encouraged staff to work extra hard and meet expectation of the new administration and their clients to facilitate trade and revenue activity.
We shouldn't feel comfortable in our balloons. We must make the effort to answer the call that the populace is putting forth, which is to say we have a responsibility to deliver better as public servants. And those of us in public service, what the population is saying is that perform better, deliver better public service to meet our higher expectation.
Some stakeholders, senior and junior personnel of the division, were honored for their dedication and hard work.
Regional, Metropolitan and District Commanders of the Ghana National Fire Service have been directed to conduct a fire audit at all gas filling stations within their jurisdiction to ensure that safety standards are complied with. This follows the failure by gas marketing companies and filling stations to comply with the Fire Precaution Regulation 2003, which has led to loss of lives and property. Fire officers are therefore to intensify patrols and monitoring of all gas installations and also fire safety education in and around communities. To this effect, the owners of gas filling stations are to avail their staff for training by the Ghana National Fire Service in accordance with LI 1724. The Ghana National Fire Service has the power to shut down those who fail to comply. In sports, Riyad Mahrez scored twice as Algeria left it late to end a 2-2 draw with Zimbabwe at the Africa Cup of Nations. To the lighter side of the news, wood carvings and handicrafts adorn hotels, institutions and many homes. We only admire these crafts from a distance without taking into consideration the amount of work that goes into making these carvings. A visit to the crafts market at the Art Center in Accra took us through the various stages of making these carvings.
Carving started as a communal form of expression which was based on the ideas of a community or an ethnic group. Wood carvings are done under the strict dictates of clan leaders, chiefs, religious leaders, and other opinion leaders in the community. This did not allow for individual carvers to express their ideas and creativity. Tree species used as raw materials for carving are ebony, mahogany, ophram, and others. Secretary of the Greater Accra Arts Crafts Union Association, Anthony Abraham Brenya, took us through the process of how most carvings are done.
Woods here are gotten from Volta region. We can carve a lot of things per the idea of the one who is doing the job. I think from the ebony wood and not the ebony alone, we have the teak wood and all the other woods, which of course we get from the Volta region. With me here you can see African Queen to just signify, and a lot. We go there and then in fact bring them in masses. After bringing them, we do the final finishing. We also have carvers here who carve in fact the same finishing.
After the wood is cut out, equipment such as chisel and hammer are used to carve the wood to a desired shape. A special type of sandpaper is used afterwards, a process that gives the object a smooth feel. It is then coated with black or brown polish. Christopher Lamptey explains further.
This one, we use chemicals on it, then we make it black. Actually, this one, we put polish on it. We put polish so that it will become shiny.
Marketing of such artifacts is critical at the final stages. A well-produced object certainly will attract buyers.
It's been 30 minutes of news. Thanks for your company. Have a good evening.